What do we have here? A veritable plethora of pokers. So what do all these knives have in common? Quick stud or add a stud or whatever those things are called that you put on your knife if it doesn't have a thumb stud. And so this is one right here. I get these from, oh, okay, the little set screw is in there. I thought I lost it. So what it is a little cylinder, basically, with a cutout, and it fits, and this is how it comes. It comes in a little baggie with the Allen wrench and the little set screw right there. And that set screw holds it onto your blade. This one's brass. They come in stainless steel. The ones I have always, I bought them off Amazon. They always come the same. They're either in brass or they're in blackened, black coated stainless or just silver stainless. So 3 different ways. And then this little set screw that I'm about to lose goes into this hole right there, and that's what tightens it onto your blade. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit a lot of blades because it's kind of made for old school thinner knives, like your buck 110 and thinner, so it has to be modified. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit, or how I do it anyway. But just for examples, here's some ways in which I have them on my knives. Here's a Tucson with the stainless one right on there. It can also front flip, but man, the front flipping is a little bit difficult once this is on there. Anyway, we're going to review that some other time. Now this one is a different deal. I drilled a hole in this one and put an actual thumb stud. That's the first one I've ever done, so just wanted to show that you can actually just put a real thumb stud in it too. Let's see. Got a Kubey Nova here with a black one. Works great. Great for reverse flicking, thumb opening, etc. They're all good for that, or I wouldn't have done it. Here's a CH skull knife with the added dealing. This is one of my prize knives here, a Max Ace with a added kind of customized one. I kind of rounded it off and polished it up a little bit, which actually kind of makes it harder to use, but it's definitely usable. This one needs one. I just had it down here in the shop to modify the quick stud to fit this blade, and so I'll have it on this one because it needs one, because it has a nice little fuller hole, but you can't really get to it because it's too far down there. It's so freaking annoying. Here's a Tuya with one that's been modified a little bit, kind of rounded off so it's easier on the thumb. Here's a Bestech with a nice silver one on there. It's got a little ground edge on it so that my thumbnail kind of sticks to it. It was slipping off, so I modified it a little bit so it would stay on there. Here's a what the heck is this one called? This one is, it doesn't matter. It's a big ass knife with a cool added thumb stud so you can pop it like that. Here's a Damn Designs Finrer. This one is black, but then I just took the corner off the edge of it because it was a little bit harsh on the thumb, because the detent on this guy's a little strong. So now it's a little more comfy to use. So those are some examples of what they look like on the knives. Here's another one I just did a review on. Nice super bargain here at 27 bucks, or close to a super budget. Great one from Sativian. All right, so here's how you put these on. What do we have here? We got the quick stud. First thing before you adjust it to your blade width is take out the set screw, because they love to fall out or interfere with your adjustments. So we'll put that guy over here, get it out of the way. Have your knife nearby. Of course, you're not just going to do this by eyeball. I'm going to do this CJRB right here. So I'm going to look at it and see. Well, let me put my old man glasses on first. Have some, if you don't see perfectly 20/20 up close, get some old man glasses. They're great. Okay. It's pretty close. It doesn't need a ton of work. So you don't want to go too far and make it too loose. There's no reason for that. So we'll put this guy over here somewhere out of the way. Right on that crinkly bag so it makes as much noise as possible. And then you got to get it into your vise. Now right now I have these two aluminum angle pieces on my vise so it doesn't scratch up anything that's harder than aluminum. So this steel is fine. And if it's something really delicate, you want to make sure there's no little bits of steel jammed into these crevices that we're going to scratch up something. But I mean this, I don't really care that much if it has a couple scratches on it. So I'm holding it in this nice dealy here. I tighten it up. And what I'm using for cutting it is a file that I've modified. So I took my grinder to it and took the teeth off this side and the bottom side, and there only has teeth on one side now, one edge. Okay, so this can rub, you know, down into that thing and not cut down into it, which you don't want to do. You want to only cut sideways. You know, sometimes I'll cut this way more, sometimes I'll cut this way more. Just depends on what I want to do. This one, it doesn't really matter which way, so yeah, although I kind of feel like I want to go into that side of it a little more. And you can still do that. Just turn the file around. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to put the file down there. And I want to feel that the file is flat on the bottom. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be parallel with the top of the vise, because you just want to be parallel with the flat bottom of the thing. So I'm finding the flat by pressing straight down on it and kind of feeling where it bumps around. Okay, so it's flat right about there. So now I'm going to start filing toward that side. Trying to keep it straight, not trying to do too much of this. But, you know, it's not easy to be perfect at it, so I can only do what I can do. And I'm also trying to not cut this way, like twist this thing. I'm trying to keep it level, and one way to do that is to press on the bottom of the file. So I'm pressing across the part that's up against the thing. I'm not pressing way up here at the top to make it twist. Okay, I'm pressing at the bottom. Let me find that level spot again. There we go. Okay. If I had some kind of a guide over here to keep it nice and straight, that wouldn't be a bad thing. But yeah, I've never had an issue with it being too much of a problem yet. All right, so we're going to check the knife now. Blow out the dust. Boy, it's, ooh, might be, I think it's there already. You know what's a little bit tight though, so I'm going to take it down just a hair more. That was a lovely coincidence. Usually it takes 5, 6, 7 tries, whatever. This CJRB, oops, find the level spot, doesn't have a particularly thick blade. It's not a big, thick, chunky. Okay, that's probably good. So what I'm going to do is actually put the knife in there. I'm going to blow out the dust first. Put the knife in there, press it in a little bit, see if it sticks in fairly tight. Then I'm going to unvise it and just drop it right out of there. Oh yeah, that's looking good. That is perfect. Yep. Just enough to go nice and smoothly on. I don't want to have to pound it on with a hammer. Sometimes I do that, and that's kind of a pain in the ass. So blow all the dust out of it, blow the metal shavings out of it, and put it right where you want it. I think I'm going to go right here. And you have to test to make sure it's not going to hit some part of the knife. Like right there it could hit. I'm going to slide it to where it almost hits because I want it about as far back as it can be. Okay, it hits there, so I'll go a little bit more forward. So I'm going to be just onto the J in the CJRB there. Okay, so I know where I want it. Let's get the screw and a little Allen wrench. Okay, there we go. So I'm putting the set screw back in. Sometimes you do have to cut the set screw down because now I've made that side a little shorter and the set screw is about the right length to be, you know, come all the way through it in the first place. So sometimes you got to trim the set screw after that, and that's a pain in the ass. But, and here's how I do it. I'll show you how to do that. You need, sandpaper can work. I use a 1x30 sander. And what I do is I put the bolt on the wrench, the set screw on the wrench like this, and then I just kind of hold it, right? And I press it up against the belt while it's turning. And then I dip it in cold water like every 5 seconds because it just gets too hot and it starts burning my fingers. So then you take off a little at a time and then you try it again and make sure it's not sticking out on this side, right? You don't want it sticking out of this side here, poking out and looking stupid. Like it's poking out a little bit right there. Let's see, is it gonna go all the way in? That's what she said. I think it's gonna be fine without trimming it, so. All right, let's get it on here. And of course you want the little knurled side towards your show side, and then the set screw goes toward the other side. So sometimes the edge of these quick studs can be a little sharp. So here's a trick for making them a little more rounded. So what I want to do is chamfer this edge just a little bit, maybe half the width of that knurling. So I'm going to take my drill, get it going the opposite direction that my belt is moving. So if my belt's moving down, I want this side to be going up. I'm going to hit it about like a 45-degree angle and keep looking at it and making sure I'm not cutting it too far. So you can see it's already starting to have a little bit of a nicer edge there. And you can touch it with sandpaper when you're done to even take the edge around the corner just a bit. Not really fine sandpaper. You don't want it to be super smooth because you want your thumb to be able to catch on it and you know, launch it. That's getting there. That's pretty much good enough. That's going to really take the edge off of it, so to speak. Then take a piece of sandpaper. And you don't want to take away those knurling bits, but we just want to hit that same angle basically. And the sandpaper will fold over on both sides a little bit and round it off a little bit and smooth it out. And this was, what's 250, something like that. Then you take it out and do the other side. But that's it for really showing you how to chamfer the edge on that thing. If it bothers your thumb at all, maybe it doesn't. Use it the way it is and see if you like it. And if it bothers you, you can do that. And you can do the same thing in a drill with just some sandpaper. Holding it, sandpaper down on a table, and then you're going to spin it in the drill up against the paper at a 45-degree angle and keep checking it until you get a little bit of a chamfer like that. All right, so we're going to try it right there where I thought I wanted it. We'll see if that works. You know, some blades have more of a rounded top on the blade, and they are really tough to do. Let's see, how close is that to hitting the thing? Nah, I could do a little more. I could go a little further over. Now, some knives you don't want to push it over as far as you can, but on this one, I want it to be over as far as it can be. Let's see, it was right on the edge of the J, right there. So we're going to try it right there. And sometimes if you do it too far up here toward the pivot, you don't get enough leverage to open the knife with the thumb stud. Then you move it down, which is, you know, kind of a nice thing to be able to do. All right, so it's on. Let's make sure it doesn't hit. Oh, that's close. I love it. Okay, let's try it. First time. Perfect. Reverse flick. Oh, flubbed it. Okay, reverse flick. So that's how you do an add-a-stud. At least that's my way. Have a nice day.